But no, Beth, your goes crashing down. Determination, the suffering, the ability to... And she's unleashed everything in this attack. See just how much that win means to him. All the marbles. Kayla versus Allison and to the line. Kayla Laguna takes the victory.
Hey everyone, welcome to CVRcade Racing for Thursday, Zone T. Earlier today in Zone K, we had the Derny Racing, the Derny Cup, and I believe Team Cycling Hub took that one. But tonight is just fun racing. There's going to be some people on bikes, some people on keyboards, some people on a controller. Like me, I'm going to be trying to commentate while controlling and trying to win some races on the controller. So we will see how that goes. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. We have 4 races lined up that are really good. First up, we have 3 laps of Dark Matter Tech, low skill event, one-time point multiplier. And you have the abilities of Uncrashable, which means you can't crash into other riders or in corners at all. You have Corner Caper, which means you can't slide out in corners. And then you also have Quantum Shift, which allows you to go through other riders. And that's an ability that's on for the whole race. And then we have one power-up, which is Comeback Kid, which gives you 367 equalized watts for 45 seconds or until you pass someone. So if you're in first place, you can't use it, but behind you can. And if someone passes you while you're using it, it also goes away. So it's a good way to come back in and get back in the race if you get dropped off in this first race. We have about a minute and a half left. So I want to talk to Casey right now. I know he's going to be on controller tonight, but I want to ask how the earlier Omnium went, how he felt about the Derny Cup, and how he likes racing this on controller versus on the bike.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Yeah, the Derny Cup went really well today. I had a little bit of a technical issue here at home. I've already ordered a new router to try to solve that. So in the second round of racing, or the third, I think it was, I had an internet dropout and ended up 10th in that race because I was sitting at the side of the road for almost a minute. But overall we won as a team Cycling Hub. I was surprised, and I even made a post about this. I was surprised at how different the Derny Cup races, having the keyboard riders in there mixed in with the physical. So we got to play a little bit different tactics, and I didn't expect that. So it was a nice little change. And then actually jumping on the controller, I had not been a fan of the non-physical riding, but jumping on the controller and riding against, 3 or 4 other controller riders was a lot of fun, which is why I decided to come back tonight and have a little fun with it. I wish we had a few more controllers in here, so you Xbox guys need to get those controllers out and come join us. But yeah, it was a good day. The Derny Cup was fun. It was my first week doing it, and look forward to that and time to rest up for Saturday for the big World Cup.
Yep. Good luck with that. We'll let you get focused for this race. I know this is going to be tiring, pushing down this right trigger. I'm doing the same thing, so try to come out in front here. You see Jeff Rooney, he's on the bike, actually using his legs, pushing out. Casey and I are up off of the front, but Jeff and Daniel are both on their bikes, racing for real, using their legs. So it's going to be, we'll see how the actual physical riders do. That's where the real battle, that's where I'm going to be interested in, is there. And Homer actually is in here now. And I think Kayla is on keyboard. Homer's physical as well. I didn't see him in the beginning, but now he has joined. And Vanessa looks like she's racing on bike too. And that's not just for, but oh my gosh. Yeah, this is a really intense battle going on between us. Really pushing this trigger down hard. But yes, Lancero Storm, if you want to come join in on the next one, controllers racing, yes, get in here and race. As you can see, Casey looks a little nervous here. I see the sweat dripping off his brow. It's a really intense battle up here at the front. His heart is racing at 85 on his equalized heart rate. For the amount of power, it's lucky that it'd be crazy if this actually equalized the to like when you were riding the bike and you just kind of screwed yourself with that. But no, it's a lot of fun. We're only 30 seconds up the road. Uh, just going through this. I feel kind of bad. But Jeff and Daniel are with each other right now, and Vanessa is only a few seconds back from them. Which event? This is the Zone T event. I think that's what it's called. It's the CVRcade Zone T. But one thing that I do want to cover is, which I thought about when Casey was talking, is about how the Journey Cup gives you like a different way to race. And I think that's really good with what's going on this week or every single week with the 3 different cups. You have the solo cups, you have people that are racing for themselves. You get to see, you know, little less team tactics, more solo, more, you know, trying to push for yourself. And then you get to see the Journey Cup where you have, you know, one person on keyboard and one person that's riding physically, and see how they interact with each other. And then you also get to see in the World Cup on Saturdays, as Casey's really pushing hard here. I don't know who won. I think I may have won that one. So, you know, props to me. Casey doesn't get them all here. But let's go. We're gonna go to the next one. We're gonna look back here at Daniel and Jeff. They're riding with each other, just keeping the pace up. Kayla a few seconds back on keyboard, and Vanessa back a little bit more, also riding physically. And Jeff uses his comeback kid, which is I didn't know it worked if someone else crossed in front. That you can see. That's actually that I did not know that. So that's really. That's something new. But now they're pushing really hard to the finish. Let's see who wins, comes to the end. I got kicked out of the event because I finished so fast, and I think Jeff is going to come out in front of Daniel, but there's still a long way to go. 45 seconds on this power up they used, which is the comeback kid, gives him an extra 367 equalized watts. So they're putting down a lot of power on them on their own legs. Daniel's trying to stay with him. He sees him up the road a little bit. Still pushing. He still has his comeback kid, so he might be able to cross. But Jeff crosses first. So of the physical riders, we have Jeff, then Daniel, and I think that took a lot of power from both of them because there's a big group of people, so you can really. And I see Lance Storm has joined for this second race, so we'll have more controller riders as Casey wanted. But let's go talk to Jeff, one of the physical riders, and just see how that felt with only having 2 people. I think it was a lot more work for the physical riders rather than the group. So Jeff, how are you feeling? Was that a lot more difficult than the normal first race is?
Obviously, with only one other. There's no draft, so I've been Daniel's draft for like 1 or 2 seconds, then he'd roll through, then I'd roll through. So it was actually quite hard work. So
yeah,
barely talk
sorry,
now.
sorry. Us, the controller riders are sorry for making you guys work that hard. Hopefully, I'm trying. I may try to help a little bit more in this one. I don't want to make everyone hate the controller riders for not helping out at all. I can tell you're out of breath, so I'll let you get cooled down a little bit more. But good luck on this next one. I think you're the official winner of that one because I don't think the controllers should count here. But good job working hard on that, and see how it goes to the rest of the night. It's a good practice for every other event. But so in that first race, that's something that I did notice and I thought would happen is with those ones where you can't crash and you're just going through each other. A lot of times with all physical riders, everyone's in a big group and everyone can just kind of relax because the speed's still picking up with all the draft you're getting. So everyone's going in and out of each other, zooming by, pushing hard, all of that. But when it's only 2 riders, which has happened before where you have to work a little harder. I remember it was a couple months ago. There's 2 people that they went out on the front and we pushed they pushed ahead and they were in the front the whole time, but they had to do a lot more work. If you looked at the watts they were putting out versus everyone else, they won the race. They got first and second, but it took a lot more effort, at least for, you know what I mean, for one of them to be drafting most of the time. Whoever had to draft the most had to put more effort in. So 2 people on that, you still have to do a lot of work. And especially with us finishing so fast, you can't just relax because you need to finish within 5 minutes. So that time limit also is going to be rough on the longer ones if the controllers finish way ahead. So we'll see how that plays out. We have about 2 minutes until the next race starts. And this next one is 7 laps of mountain bike course by Jesper. It's a high skill event, 2.5 time multiplier on the points. You get 1 inertia, which gives you which keeps your speed where it's at when you pop it for 10 seconds. So you can't change your speed for 10 seconds if you use inertia, unless you get blocked. And then if you crash with inertia and it's still on when you come back up, you'll pick that speed right back up, which can be helpful, or it can hurt you and make you crash again, depending on if you're in a corner when you crash and you come out of it and you're still in that same corner. And then we have 2 power plants, and what power plant does is it gives you 100 more watts for 5 seconds, and then 1 razor's edge, which makes you as tall and thin as a razor for 10 seconds. So a lot of good power ups. We'll see how they're used, if they're used by the people like me that are really, really pushing themselves by pushing this controller in. And sometimes you just work harder. Like I worked harder than Casey in that last one and ended up winning. That's just how it goes. But it is, I'm so glad that I hope that we have a highlight of Victor putting himself on the screen. That should be a highlight, just because I don't think I've ever seen him do that before, but I'm glad it happened. But we have about 45 seconds until it starts. So the one thing you have to look out for on this track is there's a corner, I believe it's called Castrop Corner, where a lot of wrecks happen because you have to slow down to fairly low speed. It's slower than you think you're going to be, but then the rest you can kind of open it up, especially for the non-physical riders. But the physical riders will still, I think it's going to be a good race for everyone. I think with the way the Xbox controller is set up, we should try to do an Xbox Cup, controller cup, where you can only use controller, because you see we're in the zone, getting out there, pushing as hard as possible. And I know I saw Casey on this map earlier testing his speeds. So I think he knows what he's trying to do. And Kayla, I see Kayla switches. She doesn't want to be. Oh, she doesn't. She's like, you guys are going way too fast on the for me on keyboard. So Kayla switches to the controller. So now in the front here, and Kayla tries to get over into my lane and crashes right into me. So I'm just trying to get into the draft here. I don't want to work too hard. I don't want to tire myself out too much for the next one. So I'm staying in this draft, trying to keep the speed up, trying not to lose this wheel in front of me. We'll see how it goes. Casey's going up off the front, so we don't want to let him get too far ahead of us here. If he gets too far ahead, then Casey's not keen on giving up his spots ever. So we have to. So we all make it through the corner. Kayla's a few seconds behind, and it looks like she crashes maybe in the corner as well. Daniel and Jeff are battling it out. They're right near each other. I stopped paying attention to the corner speeds to look at everything else, and I crash. So you have to stay focused when you're doing this. Multitasking is something I'm working on, and we're seeing how that goes. But Daniel and Jeff they're only actually they're keeping up. They're only 10 seconds behind me, which for us being able to put down 1,400 watts on the controller, which is an insane amount to be able to hold for a long time, and our speeds being so high, they're still pushing and really, really working. And I think I don't know if they're working with each other. I mean, today's not really about yes, it's about winning, but it's not really about this one's not as big of a deal. It's more of and I don't pay attention to the corner again, so I go down again. And I see Kayla uses a power up. I believe she uses the Razor's Edge ability further back, try to gain some speed. But yeah, there's a lot when you're going as fast as you like. Normally, when you're riding, there's some corners that you don't really have to worry about, but because of how fast you're going with the controllers, you see corner speeds that you never really thought you would see before, and it's kind of funny to watch. So, but Daniel and Jeff are still, 1 second off from each other. I think they're right next to each other, still battling it out in the back. If we can get a side by side of them, yeah. So it looks like Jeff is in the draft of Daniel, and they're pushing, pulling each other. I may be coming up on them here soon. I don't know if technically they're lapped riders if they can get a draft from me. I wish they could. I wish I could do that for them, but I don't know if I officially can. Oh, and I crash out into someone. They're still right there with me. Casey is up off the front. Casey knows his corner speeds. He is pushing hard. He's ready for this. He wants to repeat of Tuesday where he won every single race, but he can't because I already beat him once. That's all that mattered. No. But it's a lot of fun. Like, I don't know. I'm enjoying myself. Even though I'm crashing, I'm enjoying myself being able to just be on here, see the speeds, feel like I'm just like zooming fast. I like to imagine that this is how it looks when I actually race and I'm actually going these speeds and I feel just as tired as I normally would. So, it's a nice little fantasy world to live in. But Homer is a little like 30 seconds back from the group of Daniel and Jeff using his power-ups, and he's pushing, and I do feel bad for the physical riders, but this one's not for money. This one's just for fun. So Crucial Bowl, nice to see you here. Kayla, Crucial Bowl says go Kayla if you're here. But yeah, so we're all on. There's 4 riders now racing on controller, and then 3 riders that are racing physically. And the physical riders really aren't that far behind, which is Kayla was on keyboard, but she switched to controller because and Casey makes a mistake. Too much pressure on him, too much pressure with the controller, too much power in his hands. He couldn't handle it. But he's still got a pretty good lead. Lancero Storm is very close behind, only 7 seconds behind. So he may come back. He uses a power up of his own, his weight or his power plant to get that extra power. I crash into a corner going straight. My multitasking skills are, I'm trying to learn how to multitask a little better so I don't keep crashing like this. But no, I'm having a lot of fun. There's a lot to follow here, and we are following it to the best of our ability. But Casey goes down again. He was using his Razor's Edge and goes down again. Lancero's now 9 seconds behind. Kayla's 15 seconds behind me, and I'm 30 seconds behind second place. We have 1 lap left, so we're almost done, but only about a minute and a half behind are the physical riders. So they should still be able to finish before the 5-minute mark. Just doing their thing, pushing at their pressure, like at their pace, and I think they probably wish there was more people to race with them, give them a draft, do something for them. But for right now, I think, they're just like, all right, we're in this together. Us physical riders, we have to stick together and make it work. So, they've been riding the courses. They've been drafting off each other, using some teamwork in this. They're not on the same team officially, but tonight it's a battle between human and machine. Which I guess if that's the case, then Homer is technically on Team Machine, even though he is riding physically technically, but he is a machine. So I think we're gonna say that he's on our team, the controller team here, taking the top spots. And Casey goes down again, and he gets passed at the last second. Casey gets second place again. Oh, that's rough. You hate to see it. I think he got too confident in his abilities. And just let it get the best of him. But I think he'll have a point to prove in the next one that he'll take the win. But for now, let's go to him and see what happened. See see what happened, if he crashed too much, if he just thought he had it in the bag. What was going on, Casey?
Yeah, I had a really good rhythm going without the power-ups, and then I started getting brave with the power-ups, and there were a few corners that I knew I could do wide open. Once I used power-ups, I couldn't do them wide open anymore. So a lot of those were just little mistakes like that, or just some of it was kind of losing focus and missing my marks on the track, my braking points, things like that. I got a little too arrogant there mid-race and gave up some time. I actually slowed down on one lap. You can phase through lapped riders, but they still get a draft off you. So I pulled up right in front of Daniel and Jeff for about, not very long, but probably a quarter of a lap. Kind of gave them a little bit of a draft for a minute. So I gave up 5 or 6 seconds at that point, or otherwise I still could have won. But it's that much of a rhythm type thing that using the power-ups in conjunction with the controller changed the characteristics enough that I wasn't prepared for that. Interesting in that first race, Jeff, even though we're way off the front of the race, us being there changed the tactics for Jeff. Jeff Rooney went away and won that first race with a comeback kid that he dropped with like a whole lap to go. If we weren't there, even though we weren't interacting with them, if we weren't there, they wouldn't be able to play those tactics. So it was interesting how that changed the game a little bit. Even though we're not directly racing against one another, we're kind of separated on the track. It changed the dynamic of the race a little bit.
Yeah, no, I noticed that because I think we had already finished when it was popped. So I was actually surprised that after finishing the race, you could still be counted as being behind someone. I thought that was a interesting thing to learn, and definitely changed the dynamic there at the end for Jeff to pop it and get that head start there. But we'll see. Do you know your corner speeds on this track coming up, Fantastic Alien C?
Yeah, this is the first track that's a repeat for me. This is where I jumped in on the controller earlier today, so I got most of my recon and figuring out the speeds earlier today. So I think I got this one down. As I say that, I almost wrecked just practicing here. So it's really about staying focused, because if you don't keep your marks and kind of know where you're at on the track and lose track of where you're at, which it's easy to do on the controller, you'll go down really quick.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot of wrecks out of the controller riders here. But good luck on the next one. I'll be there with you, hopefully contending for that first place. But now I want to go talk to one of the physical riders, Daniel, to see how he's feeling after that last race. I didn't get to talk about what was going on at the end there between them. So if he could fill me in on what happened, how he's feeling, if he thinks he might want to switch to keyboard or to controller for the rest of the night, or what he thinks about the races tonight.
Well, controller definitely looks fun. It's so fast and crazy, but it's hard to beat the suffering of physical riding. There's just something special about it. That last race was pretty good between me and Jeff. I didn't think he was really going to come around me and take a pull, so the whole time he was behind me, I just kind of eased off a little bit, made sure just to keep a slight speed differential against third place or fourth place, or wherever Homer was anyways. And I kind of got messed up when Jeff dropped his power up. I tried to hit my number lock and do my power up at the same time, but I hit the 7 button instead. So when I hit my power up, I hit page down and not like 3. So it cost me some time. And then in the last corner, I was on my power ups and not my arrow keys. And I hit power plant and drove straight into the rocks. So one day I'll get used to this.
Yeah, you need a way to see which one you're on more easily, so you can know if you're doing power ups or changing. But hopefully you can get it down so the mistakes happen less, and you can be in contention a little bit more. I know, I mean, you're right there with him the whole time, and just those little mistakes, they count a lot. But it's still nice to see people out here riding physically. Hopefully it's getting you a good workout, getting you ready for Saturday's races if you're racing Saturday. And but no, good luck on this next one. I'll let you cool down, focus a little bit with a minute to go, because this one's a tough race. So good luck on it.
Thank you.
Yep. And so yeah, this next race is 4 laps of Fantastic Alien Sea, medium skill event, but it's a 2.5 time point multiplier because it is a little longer. And it says medium skill, all of these are fairly high skill with how they go. But this one's more of a power course. Usually at the end, you have a few corners that are a little tricky. You have to slow down for, but if you know your corner speeds, then there isn't an issue, and you can wreck into people here. You have 2 weight lifteds, which make you 30 kilograms lighter for 10 seconds. And then also 1 inertia, which again locks your speed where you're at. The speed you're going locks you right there. So right now, everyone's in the gate, pushing off. We'll see who gets out in front. And so there are corner speeds that you have to watch out for on these tracks as you're going through. You don't want to hit anyone. You don't want to slide out too much, and you don't want to be too slow, because everyone's going to be kind of gunning it to the corner speed that they think is right. And you don't want to wreck, because you can wreck out into people, which it will be unfortunate. And I am scared to do that, but focusing, see if I can make someone else make a mistake. Not quite yet. See, we're just watching Casey. Casey looks pretty good about the speeds. So watching him trying to keep our head on and not crash out, which is a lot more difficult than it sounds. And this one is taking a lot more focus than the last races for me, because these corners are a little different, and you get a lot of speed coming into them. So, but how is the chat doing tonight? Are you, Casey say he feels confident. He's just gunning it off the front. I don't feel confident, and I wreck out in the corner. So, I think that's it for my race, unless everyone else wrecks as well, which I'm just going to keep racing. I'm going to focus a little more on what other stuff's going on and just try to keep a good speed while looking at everything else. Kayla is back a little bit. Now it's just Casey and then Lancero Storm again up on the front, racing each other. Those two are good on the controllers. But then further back, we have Daniel, who is 20 seconds off the front, and then Jeff, who is 5 seconds behind him. And then it looks like Homer is just resting in with the bot patrol. I think he's just getting a good workout in. This would be his 4th Omnium of the day, which we talk about all the time. But Homer is a machine. I don't know how he does it. And I see Lancero Storm uses his weight lifted to try to catch back up. He's only 1 second off from Casey right now. So, but now that's changing a little bit. The speed differential is going crazy. I think Casey will know the corner speeds a little bit better, maybe a lot bit better. He knows the corner speeds very well. So it will be hard to contend if he can keep, but he crashes. I don't know. He looks like he's confused about the corner speed there, but he crashes. So now, but then Lancero crashes as well to give him an opportunity to get back and go into first place. As long as I don't wreck, I'm actually closing in on them. Slowly but surely closing in on these racers here. We will see if I can, make up any time if they crash at all. Okay. Oh, and I crash. I tried to. You have to go before you get terminated. Good night, Crucial Bowl. Don't get terminated. That does not sound good. But I crashed as well. I thought I was out in the clear with my speed, but I hit the gas pedal right at the very end of the corner and ended up wrecking because of it. And now I'm just being reckless. We need a constant corner caper on this. That would make it a lot easier for me to be able to multitask like this. But no, I'm actually having a blast right now. Even with wrecking, this is a lot of fun. There's different types of racing here. It reminds you of like, there's other racing games out there that are kind of similar to this. So like when you're on controller, it gives a whole different dynamic than when you're riding physically, which is fun to have. It's a nice change of pace to go from, riding and getting sweaty and getting tired and just trying to see where your legs have. And now it's more about the mental aspect. Do you know your corner speeds? Make sure you don't crash. Make sure you use your power ups at the right time and don't mess up, which is always things that you need to know. But in this case, every corner speed is something you need to know. Whereas in other ones, certain corner speeds, you probably wouldn't hit riding physically just because the human body can only do so much. It can do a lot though. So I'm not saying you couldn't do it, but in here, every corner is a check your speed corner, even if it normally wouldn't be. So that brings a whole different dynamic. Makes a lot of things different for the controller riders. So I think it would be fun to see, how controller riders do on different courses. I think it'd be kind of funny to see certain courses like the technical courses where you can't go over like 40 kilometers per hour in corners. So then it's more about, how evenly can you hold that 40, how can you use your power ups, how good is your timing, and make sure that you don't wreck into things. I think that would be fun to watch and fun to play as well. Whereas like some of the power courses and like the low skill event is more just like hold down the gas and hope for the best, hope you get the luck on your side to be able to win that one. But it is a lot of fun. Daniel and Jeff are only a minute and a half behind Casey in first place on controller. So you like one thing that I think is really impressive is like with us being able to put down the amount of watts we are and the speed that we're putting down, and them to only be a minute and a half behind is incredible because sometimes there's people that are over 2 minutes behind riding physically against other physical riders. So I when I was first like thinking about this, I thought maybe it would be a huge disparity between it, and like I would feel like we're 5 minutes ahead and they have to push super hard, like way past their limit to even cross the finish line in time. But they're pushing hard, like they're pushing at their own pace and still not too far behind us. So I think it, it turned out a lot different than I assumed it would. And I'm glad because I want it to be fun for everybody. And I know maybe it doesn't seem fun to them right now. I'm sure their legs are telling them, yeah, this is not fun. We're not having fun with this. But I think overall it's still fun that they still get to finish the races, and they kind of have their own battle. It's like a 1v1 here, which we need to bring that back. I remember there was a 1v1 tournament a few months ago and a 2v2. I think those were a lot of fun. We should try to bring some of those back to see even more racing. I think there's so many different ways that this game can be played, that CVR can be played. And it's I don't know. I think it's something that we should try to showcase everything about it. The 1v1s, 2v2s, we have the team tactics. We do have the solo races of a lot of people. But when I remember racing, that was actually my first races were 2v2s that I rode with Frank Garcia, and we got second place, which we should have been able to win, but I started to get equalized hard right away. But it was a lot of fun. It was cool to see the tactics where, different types, like different ways, won different ways, like got different amount of points. And just being able to say, like, hey, like you get first and I'll try to get this, so that like you could try to exchange who did the most work and who got a little bit more rest. And I think that was a lot of fun. I think that's something we should try to bring back. If anyone's listening that, can do that, I'm just saying. And now Daniel's standing up. He's pushing out. He's 5 seconds off from Jeff. So I think he's trying to catch back up, get back into the draft and make sure he's not so far behind. But he's coming out of this corner and crossing the finish line here. So he has half the race to go, I believe. And Now he uses his weight lifted to be lighter, gain some speed. But Jeff gets to 48 kilometers per hour and then uses his inertia there. So he has a higher speed differential, and Daniel uses his weight lifted again to gain some more speed here. We'll see if he uses his inertia. There it is. He uses the inertia at 47. So he's at a higher speed differential, almost 10 kilometers per hour faster than Jeff, and he makes up some time. So he's only 5 seconds back now. They're still in a battle. He's still got to catch up a little bit. I think he knows that he's right there, so he just needs to work a little bit more. He still has a lot of track left, a lot of racing left. So we'll see how that turns out for them. He's still 3 seconds behind, but he can see him up the road. He's still a little faster. I think he just wants to get in behind and try to catch that draft. Try to get his heart rate back and ready for a sprint again. He does not want to get dropped off there, and he wants to be the physical winner for the night. So he looks focused. He looks ready. Jeff is putting the power down. Jeff's swaying a little bit, but I think he's focused as well. They're both saying, I want this. They both want it. They're both working for it. So as this race progresses, we'll see how it turns out. In the front here with the controllers, though, Casey is way up off the front, over 30 seconds ahead of second place, which Kayla is in second, and Lancero is right behind, 6 seconds behind. I'm still wrecking here in fourth place over and over. We have Victor. I don't know if you are hearing this in the chat. ModKG says, "Can you put Frank in a VMix call?" So we may get Frank in the broadcast here to talk to us a little bit. We'll have to see if we can get him in one. Hopefully we can. Let's while we're waiting though, let's talk to Casey and see what's going through his mind. How he's feeling. You feeling tired? You feeling mentally exhausted? How's this race going for you?
I'm doing good. I kind of got a rhythm here. I'm chatting with a buddy in my chat as well a little bit, and I kind of got a groove. I'm looking at the gap behind me. I actually think I'm going to slow down before the start finish line just so I can give Jeff and Daniel a little more of a break before the next race. Whenever I cross the finish line is when kind of the timer starts to the next event starting. So I think they've still got almost a full lap to go. So I'm going to try to give them a little buffer here without letting Lancer and Kayla pass me. But yeah, I mean, I kind of got in a groove here. It's interesting. Just how much you have to stay focused. I wrecked on the first lap because it's all about, you talk about race car drivers and learning their marks on the course. I rode this solo before, and when you ride solo, there's no riders nearby list up on the right-hand side of the screen. And I was hitting my break point based on when a rock came into my vision. Well, with that riders nearby list, that rock doesn't come into my vision as quickly because it's covered up by the riders nearby list. So I completely blew my break point on the first lap because my point of reference changed. So, little things like that, it's amazing how much different the game becomes when you put the controller in your hand versus on the bike.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a learning experience. I know you're getting towards the end, but you're killing it on the controller. You got one more race left. Finally getting the win after getting beat 2 times now. So congrats on that. But we'll let you get back to that. I think we have Frank in the stream now. I see that he's logged in. Hopefully it's actually working. I don't know. We'll switch to him if we can. But I'm going to keep racing for now. Is Frank in the broadcast? That seems like a no. So we're going to keep moving along. Casey crosses the finish line here, and I believe Kayla is going to come across next, followed by Lancero Storm, and then me. I'm a minute behind I was 2 minutes back from Casey, and Jeff and Daniel are 1 minute back from me. So that gives them about 3 minutes. Actually, it looks like Casey did not cross the finish line. He's just going slow. So he's being nice. I couldn't tell it's hard to tell the difference between crossing the finish line and when someone's below a certain speed just because of how it shows on the scoreboard. But it looks like Kayla's doing the same thing. Everyone's trying to be nice, making sure that that they do not make the timer go off sooner than it needs to. Give the other riders plenty of time to get across the finish line. I don't know how much distance they have left. I know I have a little under a kilometer left to go, and I'm taking my time here a little bit. But they're about a minute back from me still, a little over a minute actually. But they should have time if they just keep their pace, keep working with each other here. You can see Daniel's riding in the draft of Jeff. Jeff's doing a little bit of work here, just putting down 300 equalized watts. But their heart rates aren't bad. Jeff's heart rate's only at 176, his equalized heart rate. And Daniel is at 185 on his equalized heart rate. And then a minute back from them is Homer, who is at 167 on his equalized heart rate. So they're not pushing themselves too hard, and they're still, they still have time to finish. So I'm sure that they will be able to finish, and it's all going to go well. That's the positivity. No wrecks from them, preferably. It looks like Daniel moves in front of Jeff here and puts in a little bit of a dig, but now they're both putting down about 500 watts. Their heart rate's gonna go up here. From that, Daniel's up to 190. And wait, there's an impasse here at the front here. I think the controller riders all stopped and are letting other people finish first here. So that was very nice of everyone here to do that. But we have Daniel and Jeff. They're about to come up on this descent, which will give them a little bit of relaxation at the end here. They won't have to push super hard until they get to the very end after the corner. And, everyone's just having fun. I'm sure it's less fun for these physical riders, but it's still fun to play. It's fun to watch. But I feel I kind of want to. Part of me wishes that I was on this on the bike, so that way I could have I feel bad that I'm out here just sitting, not sweating, and these guys are putting in so much effort to cross the finish line. Daniel is ahead of Jeff, pushing. He's coming hot into this corner. He's real close on the speed, but he looks like he knows what he's doing. And Jeff goes down later on. So Daniel can relax a little bit if he wants to. Make sure you don't gun it in this corner. Don't crash. And he should be able to. But they still have time to finish. But yeah, Jeff crashes, uses the power up here to try to get back up to speed. Hopefully it does not cause him to wreck in another corner. But Daniel is about to cross the finish line. Takes an event for the physical riders here. It's first place physically. I'm sure he's feeling it. He looks like he's tired, but he feels good about it. I'm gonna let his heart rate relax a little bit. I know we talked about this earlier. Is Frank in here, or was he not able to get into the racing or get into the call? I'm gonna take that as he couldn't get in still. He's in VMix. That's what I'm hearing. He's in VMix. So can we go talk to him? I think he had something he wanted to say. Well, I take that silence as as it's not working still. So, but that's a fun race. We'll go to Daniel and talk to him. How'd that race, Daniel? How did that race go for you? How do your legs feel? Was that a huge effort, or how's that going?
Oh, that was so hard. I was feeling pretty confident on the first lap. I was just able to have like a slight speed differential over Jeff. Thought it was a speed I was going to be able to maintain. And then I got too cocky, trying to open up the gap, and crashed. Reset everything. Tried to draft him. I was sliding out a bit more in a corner than he was, and went down. So had to reset everything all over again, catch his wheel, and then work extra hard to get that gap back before the last descent, and just keep the pressure on. And he went down, so I was able to coast into the finish. But my legs are all cramped. I feel like crap now. So it's going to be hard to maintain it for this last one.
Well, I believe you can, and I just want to tell you you're 1 point behind Jeff on the physical riders leaderboard here. So I don't want to, I'm just saying if you can take that spot, you could do it if you have it in you. But but good luck on this next race. I'll be trying to look down to see how things are going, and good luck. But this next race is 4 laps of Lakeview Lanes, high skill event with a 2-time multiplier, and there is wind on course. The power-ups we have are two path of least resistances, which greatly reduces road resistance for 10 seconds. 1 great responsibility, which gives you great power for 5 seconds, which is going to be fun to see that being used. Hopefully, we'll see if any crashes happen. And then we have corner caper, which we saw as an ability in the first race, which means you can't slide out in corners, but it only lasts for 10 seconds here instead of the whole race. And it's whenever you do use it. The chat is rooting for Daniel here. Okay, now I'm getting word that Frank is actually in this time. So as this race starts, let's see if Frank's actually in and can talk to us. Frank?
Yeah, I think I'm in. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, now I don't want to talk though because it's time to race.
That's the best time to talk. All right. Well, we won't make you talk then. I'll do the talking still. We'll come to him after this race. We'll talk to you after the race, Frank. But I think Frank is trying to give Casey a run for his money here. I think Casey's liking it. We'll see how they come into these corners. I'm gonna let them battle it out. See if they make the mistakes. I'll just, casually race it. And there goes Frank. Frank goes down. I now want to go to Casey to see what he has to say, because I'm sure he wants to talk some crap now after Frank in the chat said that he was gunning for Casey.
I have no idea how I stayed up there. That had to be like 1/10 of a mile an hour away from me wrecking. I was like, oh, I just screwed up this whole corner. And then he went down behind me. I have no idea how I stayed up there.
Yeah, well, you did. So now you're up off the front again. I'm trying to stay with you here, but I don't know these corner speeds at all. So we'll see how that goes.
It's, if you're on KPH, it's if you're going left, it's 50 to not slide, and if you're going right, it's 47 to not slide.
That's good to know. Thank you. All right, see, teamwork here. But yeah, Frank does go down. We'll see if he can come back up. I saw him use one of his, I believe it was his path of least resistance to try to catch back up, but he's 12 seconds behind me, and Casey is 3 seconds in front of me, and Kayla's behind him. And then Homer who's riding physically, and I crash into a corner, which generally happens a lot when I'm trying to multitask, but it's all fun here. Casey, although for Casey, I think it's less fun. I think it's serious for Casey. I think Casey really, really wants this. This is pride on the line here, and he wants this victory. He's not having fun. This is, he goes, who cares about the World Cup? Who cares about the Solo Cup? Who cares about the Journey Cup? Still crashes in the corner. He had the groove going, but once you start hyping him up, and I crash too, but you don't have to worry about me coming back. And Frank zooms by me. I think Frank's happy to let us make the mistakes here and and try to come back and win this. But Casey still has a lead here. I think if he doesn't go down, he should be good. But the rest of us racers are trying not to wreck, and I am just crashing in every single corner. Lancero Storm says my race over, had 2 FPS and 300 ping. Oh, dang. I'm sorry, Lancero. Hopefully it doesn't happen the next time. But it was good to have you in here for a few races. Oh man. So right now I'm just trying to stay probably at like around 49 to 50 because I don't really trust myself here. Trying to talk and do this at the same time. So I'm just trying to stay at a fairly middle speed. But sorry, Lancero, that happened. I think Casey's still up. Casey's 8 seconds up on Frank. and Kayla is 4 seconds behind Frank here, and I'm way off the back now. But Homer's only 23 seconds behind me, so he's about 40 seconds off the leader. Homer's pushing real hard on this one. He relaxed on the other ones, on the other races, and I think he's getting his last little dig in here, last little workout. Jeff is behind him, and then I actually am not able to tell sorry, I'm not able to tell with things right now where Daniel is. I don't know if he's right behind or not, but I will get that up in a sec. I got to take something off. Daniel is down a little further. Daniel's about 20 seconds behind Jeff. So looks like Jeff will take if this is how it turns out, Jeff will take the physical Omnium for the night, not the controller Omnium, which I think I was in second place, but I think after this race I may be moving back a little bit, trying to finish consistently, but talking and doing things at the same time have proven difficult tonight, but it's been a lot of fun. I'm sure it's been a lot of fun for Casey up off the front, who's gaining time. He's known his corner speeds and everything. I think even if he were to wreck again, he would still have enough time to get back up and have a lead. But we'll see. I don't think Frank's going to give up that easily. Frank's putting in a lot of effort here. 1,400 equalized watts, going 66 kilometers per hour. And all these top four riders, it's crazy how they can put down four. And Frank goes down. Oh, that's sad. That's rough to see. Frank goes down again. And it looks like Casey crosses the finish line and gets another win under his belt and takes the overall Omnium for the controller riders. So it's taken quite a few Omniums today. And then Kayla gets second, and then Frank's going to cross in third place. And then me taking up the fourth place here. Just pushing a little bit, just relaxing. I didn't use any of my power-ups, but further down you have Homer, who's really pushing in. He's only 30 seconds behind. Modkg G says, good, nice job, Casey. If Frank's in here now, let's see if he wants to talk or if he was just wanted to talk. He says he wants a rematch. But are you still in VMix, Frank?
I am. That was horrible. What was that? It was another body. It wasn't me who was racing. It couldn't have been. But I do want a rematch. I had practiced a little bit on Lakeview lanes. But I made the one mistake, and then I tried to use a path of least resistance. I hate those power-ups, just like you, Aaron. And I went so fast using the controller that it didn't run out before the end of the straightaway, and that was pretty much game over. Although I did see Casey make one mistake, so he left me an opening, but I couldn't capitalize. But Casey, where are we going next? I think I'm going to set up an event.
We'll see. Well, let's open him up. Let's open Casey's mic up too. Let them talk to each other here. Let them get this drama going. We want this entertainment here.
I'm up for it. It's got to be like a track neither one of us know though. Like these four tracks tonight, I've got these down.
Yeah, so let's go somewhere else. Let me see if I can pick a track here. Cityscape Water Village. What do you think?
Sure. I don't know what that is. Sounds perfect.
Oh, perfect.
Oh,
okay.
Are we gonna try to get the stream to follow this? Is this what's going down?
Of course. We're
right.
gonna get the stream to follow this.
All
okay,
right.
so let's see. I'll set up the event. The event will be Frank v. Casey. Anybody else is welcome, by the way. Event's not there yet. Let's see. I will set it to start. Today would be good, right? And actually, I'll probably just set up a reoccurring one. Let me just do that. Well, hold on. Let me do the time here. What time is it?
All right. While he's doing that, I want to say congrats to the physical riders. Jeff, I think, took the overall Omnium for the physical riders, and Daniel came close second. I saw them, just cross the finish line there. So they put in a big effort today. Homer did as well, racing his fourth Omnium. We're gonna go on to this, and we're gonna go to this other event and have some fun with it. So the stream's gonna go on a little longer than normal. But no, there should be a lot of fun. I'm glad we had this little change of plans here. Make it interesting. See a rematch here, Battle of the Titans, on a map that neither of them know. Should be a lot of fun. Frank, is that event set up?
I am adding some power-ups just to make it fun, of course.
Okay.
Let's see here. This always takes longer. Oh, I just added every power-up in the game. That might be a little excessive.
Oh, it looks like Kayla is getting in on this one, so you guys got to watch out. We're going to get a lot of people in on this one. But yeah, if you look at the replay, there's Casey taking the win on Lakeview Lanes. Took 2 wins, 2 second places, I believe. Took the Omnium for the controllers. I got second place. And I only took 1 win. The rest were all 3rd and 4th places. But consistency is key. It's how you take it overall, right? But Jeff and Daniel put in a huge effort on the night. I'm super impressed with the effort they put in. I know that riding with just 2 people, kind of 1v1 there, but still having to finish because of the time constraints of how fast the other riders are going, that can be difficult. So you can't just relax. You got to push out. And they did a lot. It was impressive to see. I'm glad they were in here, getting that workout in, getting practice for Saturday, which is the World Cup Racing Zone K, which is 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. $15,000 on the line for that one. So that'll be fun to see. You get to see team tactics. Here again in the replay, you see Casey really pushing hard here. Wasn't enough to get him the first place. But I'm hoping that this, I don't know what the power-ups we're going to get are. I'm just excited to commentate one more race here. I'm probably not going to be racing this one. I want to really focus on the 2 Titans battling it out. But I do not know when it will be created. Frank, how is that creation coming along?
Well, I thought I saved it. Do you guys see the event? But then it wasn't there, so maybe I didn't create it.
I do not see the event.
Yeah, so let me just I'll do a.
Do we still have Jeff in stream? I don't know if he's still here. If we do, I want to talk to him.
I'm still here.
Yeah. How did that feel? I know a lot of races. Just the 2 of you is probably a big solo effort compared to other times. But how did it feel to get the
head-to-head? Except we had more people.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
So head-to-head, me and Daniel. He played it well on Alien Sea. I felt sorry after being so mean to him on mountain bike course and give him a drive for a bit. He went down twice, so I let him sit in, and then I went and crashed. I turned inwards on a corner at too high a speed and went down, and just handed it to him. So I like to pretend that was on purpose, but it was all me.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you still took the physical Omnium for the night. So congrats on that. You guys were working super hard, so I'm glad that you guys stayed in and put the effort in. I don't know if you guys are gonna join in on this other thing going on, but I just wanted to say, congrats again. It was fun to watch. So hopefully you got a good workout in for the day. But I'll let you rest. Yeah.
I might join the other one when I settle down a bit. I feel like I'm going to throw up at the minute. That was hard work, that last one, trying to catch Homer. He was gone.
That's fair. All right. Well, thanks for talking. Thanks for racing. This next race is a special race that just got set up by Frank Garcia. We're gonna see them battle it out. I won't be racing this one because I want to check. I wanna watch this. Casey, if you're in here, get into it. It's called Frank Casey. You have a minute and 15 seconds to get in there, so you got to get in fast. It's on the events board, so Casey, if you can hear me, get into that right now if you can. But it's Cityscape Water Village, 3 laps, controllers only here. It's going to be a controller battle. There's 1 great responsibility, 1 quantum shift, 1 razor's edge, and 1 wind at your back. And this is going to be fun to see because I know the corners on this one are very, very, I think this is the one with the corners that are, you can't go super fast. So these power-ups that we have are going to be, people are going to be speeding up a lot and they're going to be crashing a lot. So this could be a crash fest. And I know that I was crashing on ones that weren't. So now we have Glenn, Kayla, Casey, and Frank in here on their controllers. And it's going to be, we're going to see if Glenn or Kayla can take out the Titans, the 2 Team Hive teammates here. See if they're going to work together or what's going to happen. But here we go. They're in the starting gate. They're about to push out. Let's see. I'm excited for this. Everyone's pushing. And right now, Glenn is up off the front. But everyone's just with each other. Everyone's putting down the watts. This first corner, I feel like we're going to see a lot of crashes. Don't ask why I say that, but no crashes. Okay. But Kayla comes out in front. So Kayla is up on the front. Frank now crossing on the inside. Maybe Frank knows this course better than he led on, but Casey's right there with him. Everyone's just kind of neck and neck here. Glenn's falling back a little bit, but with the keyboard, it's not like he's going to get too tired. Everyone's sliding out, but keeps it a good enough pace where they don't slide out on the edge. Oh, Frank gets right in the way of Casey, and Glenn gets in the way of Kayla, and they slide out into them. Oh, that's unfortunate. But now it's Frank and Glenn in the front. These corner speeds do get a little dicey, so we'll see. And Casey goes down again, trying to catch back up. I think with the way this might work, unless everyone on the front makes more mistakes, because it is 3 laps, Casey may not be able to come back into this. But let's see. We still have Glenn is up on the front now, just past Frank, with Kayla 6 seconds off the back, and Frank goes down. So now it's just who hasn't crashed yet, which Glenn has not. But he's cooking into this corner, and he might go down. Nope, he slows down just in enough time, and he's up in the front by 6 seconds. So now Kayla and Frank are right next to each other. I don't know if they're going to work together to try to take this out, but Casey goes down early on and is starting to catch back up a little bit, and Frank goes down as well. So now you have Glenn up off the front, who's the only person who hasn't wrecked. So I think that's kind of what this map was, is if you don't wreck, you're good to go. But there are power-ups, so we'll see if anyone uses them. It may be a little difficult because these power-ups give you a lot of speed and can cause you to go out in these corners that are very, very, very tight corners. But I think there is a slight straightaway part here coming up where you go through a little bit of like a park area. So you might be able to see some power-ups used there. But I think people are going to try to, try not to overstep it, because I think we're going to see if Glenn can keep this up. He hasn't made a mistake. He's still pushing it. He's not playing it too safe, but he's playing it safe enough as of now. So we'll see if he can take down the Titans that are Frank and Casey, who are in 3rd and 4th. Kayla is ahead and Glenn is in 1st. So right now, they're showing up, the Titans, but Casey is right back in with Frank and Kayla. He caught back up. So if Glenn makes a mistake, this group could come back and do something. And Casey is focused. He wants to win this race. And Kayla goes down. So now Casey and Frank are right with each other and going through this little park area that gives you a little bit more of a chance to push down the speed and not slide out. But there's still a little bit of a turn, so you can't put the power down too much. But Casey is pushing out, has 10 kilometers per hour over Frank right now, gaining a lot of time here coming into this other lap. And there's still 10 seconds off the back from Glenn, who hasn't made a mistake, is still pushing it, still doing good. And sorry, Lintero, that you couldn't join. I wish you could have joined. This would be fun. But I think if there is a controller one, it might be a controller only thing. I don't know. I don't have any official. But Frank and Kayla go down further back again in the last corner, I think. And Frank uses his great responsibility in third place to pick up a lot of speed to try to catch back up there. Casey is actually gaining a little bit of time on Glenn. He's only 8 seconds back now. He was 10 seconds back. So I think he's starting to get these corner speeds down and really, you know, making up this time. And I think he's trying to make Glenn a little nervous. Maybe Glenn will make a mistake if he's nervous that Casey's going to come back. But right now we have Glenn in first, Casey in second, Kayla in third, and then Frank in fourth. But Frank's coming up on this corner and passes Kayla, coming with a lot of speed there. I thought he might have wrecked out, but then he gets in front of Kayla there and wrecks out, going a little too fast in that corner. So Kayla gets to push out there. Glenn is still up on the front, 7 seconds now, separating first and second place. And Frank goes down again. Frank's I think he's trying to push to catch back up. But maybe we'll see a rematch part 2 after this display. I'm gonna come out and say, if anyone remembers the World Cup, the way that Frank is racing right now is mediocrity. Sorry, I had to, Frank. But Casey is 8 seconds back off Glenn. Glenn still hasn't made a mistake, but there's still another lap to go after they get through this one. Casey seemed to like that. Frank goes down again. But now Casey is 10 seconds back from Glenn. So Glenn is doing really good on the controller here, making sure not to crash in corners. I think Frank is just crashing on purpose now. I don't think he's having a very good race today. But I think Casey just is just trying to race his race and see if Glenn makes a mistake. But yeah, no, Frank, I think has officially given up on this race after crashing so many times. But Kayla is 20 seconds off from first place, and Glenn is 10 seconds up from Casey. So Glenn still has a 10-second lead here, and still in the second lap. So things could still change. You know, a wreck could happen, but I don't think Glenn wants to wreck here. I think he's playing it a little safer. He's not sliding out all the way over. You can see he's only going into the middle lane here. So he's taking a little easier, which if Casey pushes it a little bit and gets his speed all the way up, might be able to come back, but it looks like Casey's still taking it easy as well. But ModKG, I don't think he's going to need a new bike. I think he's going to need a new controller. Well, I guess a new bike in game and a new controller in the real world. But they get to Casey and Glenn are both in this little park area, pushing the speeds, Casey's still trying to catch back up. He's 11 seconds off the back. I think he's still just hoping for a mistake out of Glenn. I think this is one of those races, especially when you're on keyboard or when you're on controller, if you don't make a mistake, you can normally, as long as you're pushing a little bit, you can't just sit back and relax during it. But if you know the corner speeds and you're close enough to them and you don't wreck, and everyone else makes a mistake, you can win. And that's happened. There's some other maps where that's true physically as well, where there's it's a slower speed where you wreck out, where all you have to do is keep it. I know that I've done that before on Barnyard Velo, where all I did was just race a little bit under the speed that you wreck out at, probably like 2 kilometers per hour lower, and just rode it at that and didn't wreck for 8 laps. And at the end, everyone else had wrecked multiple times and I was in first. And so I think that's a similar thing to this one. And yes, Lindsay, he is experiencing gamer rage. We're going to see. He may need to take a break from gaming after this. I don't know. Should we open his mic up to see what he's thinking or what's going through his head right now? Frank, if you're there, talk to us and let us know how you're feeling.
I'm getting in again because I have to go one more time. I hope Casey's up for one more. And no, I was not mediocrity. I was much worse than that. So appreciate the shout out. Thanks, Aaron. We'll be chatting later.
Well, I should have expected that, and I did expect it. I weighed my options, and I saw the possible outcomes, and I still decided to go forward with it. So, but yeah, we'll we'll talk about that later. I guess we have another race coming up after this. So I know Victor's probably very upset about this. So we'll let him be the final judge on if we go to this or if they want to have their own little grudge match outside of it. But if Victor's okay with going to watch their second grudge match here, and it looks like in the front, Glenn and Casey both went down. Glenn might have gone down before. So now Casey and Glenn are within each other, and Casey is actually in the lead and doesn't go out there. So now Glenn may not win this race. I didn't see him make the mistakes. We were talking about Frank's mediocrity. But you're on the unemployment line after this. Well, maybe me too, depending on how this talk goes after this. But oh yeah, yes, that I am in the unemployment line. But it's okay. We're out here. But so they both crashed. But I think Glenn might have crashed before that. I won't go to. He did. Okay, I was gonna ask Casey, but he just shakes his head. Yeah, Vic could just put the closing screen simultaneously, but we're gonna keep going. He has done that. So Dude Athlete, if you look at last Tuesday, I was in the middle of talking and the everything was rolling for the highlights, and he did the closing screen in the middle of me talking. So you see me pause and go, what? But so that has happened, and that happened literally 2 days ago. So if you want to see that happen, it will. We'll see if it happens again. But now Casey and Glenn are really going at it. Casey uses his path of least resistance here, which is going to be, you can slide out on this, I believe. Actually, no, I don't know what this power-up was. Actually, I was wrong. I don't know what the power-up is because I forget all the power-ups that are in here. That might have been wind at your back. But they're gaining a lot of speed. We're going to see what happens here in this corner. Casey slows down and pushes out at a good time. This last corner is one that I've seen people wreck on before. Dude Athlete, I'm glad you watched it. So you know that has happened. Okay, good. But now, oh, they both wreck in the corner. I thought he was going to slow down and let him go, but he uses it. Now Casey uses his power up. Oh, Glenn uses great responsibility. They both use it. And Glenn wins, takes it from Casey right at the end. If Casey would have just, it looked like he slowed down and was ready to just take the win, but he sped up right at the end because Glenn was going by and crashed in the corner. That's a crazy finish to the race. So you have Glenn beating the Titan that is Casey, and Frank, who's just been wrecking over and over on purpose. But we are going to wait for someone to set up another one because Frank is not happy. Frank leaves. He's setting up another one. He is ready to get another rematch. He said, that one doesn't count. I made this game, so it's my rules. That one was just a warm up. So let's go on to something that actually matters. But Casey, Glenn says you were making him nervous, shaving all of those seconds. Casey, let's go to you. What happened there at the end? What was going on there?
Yeah, I mean, you called it right. I had the lead there, and I used my power up to get a little bit of acceleration into that big sweeping corner. Glenn followed my moves. He was right on my wheel. It was just a matter. He had to take a risk to pass me there, and I reacted to him taking the risk. I think I probably braked really well for that corner, but he kind of sent it into that corner a little bit, and I let off the brake when I saw him coming around me to try to take a risk as well, because I thought maybe he could pull it off. And we ended up both wrecking, and I think when we were wrecked, I just smashed every power-up I had. So when I popped back up, I had a razor, greater responsibility. He did the same thing. So, yeah, I should have just trusted my brake spot and took it around that corner, because if he was aggressive and made it, then kudos to him for beating me. But that was crazy hard. Some of those corners are 20 miles an hour or 20 kph. Like, that was crazy hard corners.
Yeah, a lot of speeding up and slowing down. I noticed. Are you ready for this next rematch? Because Frank was not happy with that one.
Well, I mean, we may be here all night if Frank's going to go till he wins. So we'll have to see here. I'm not seeing anything out here yet.
I think he said it just got in, but I don't. Is it also Frank
got it,
Casey?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He probably picked a track he knows really well.
Yeah. So we have another one. 2 minutes till it starts. Yeah, rematches until Frank wins. I guess Casey, you. Oh, same track.
Same track.
Oh, okay. Well, we're doing the same track, but Casey, you might just have to let him win if you want to go to bed, and if I want to go to bed, and Victor might just end the stream if he wants to go to bed. But now
Victor
we'll see
might as well stay up at this point.
Yeah, that's true. It looks like Homer is in this physically, so he may give you guys a run for your money. Homer's he's going on. He's like, you guys aren't done. I'm not done either. And Kayla wants the rematch too. So this should be fun. Good luck on your battle with Frank again. We'll see how it goes. Let's go to Frank and see how he's feeling. If he thinks he'll do better this time, if he knows the corner speed's better, or how are you feeling about this one, Frank?
I wasn't crashing on purpose. I was just degrading over time. So I started out decent, and then I tried to start pushing it. And you got to go slow to go fast. It's my phraseology when it comes to Cade, and I'm doing very, very poorly this evening with regards to that, for sure.
Well, now you guys have Homer to contend against, and he's a machine, so I would watch out for that. And Lancero's in here now, but good luck. I'll give you 25 seconds, get these corner speeds down. But sorry I had to call you out on the mediocrity thing.
Like I said, you got to call it like you see it, and it was worse than mediocrity. So I think you should have come with Frank stinking up the place or something like that.
No, I'll let you do that for yourself. We're not about the negativity here. But so the race just started. Casey and everyone's pushing out in front, and Homer's not going to be able to keep up here. But I think Homer's just wants to get more of a workout in. Homer's always pushing, and Homer's on the bike, so he's the real winner here, no matter who wins between any of these people. And Frank changes and decides to put corner caper on, so he does not wreck out in those corners there, but he wrecks in that corner. I'm not going to say it yet. You're still up a little bit. You still have time. You're still in front of people. And Lancero Storm goes down. Casey's sitting in 4th place and goes down as well. Everyone goes down in this corner. And there's also flat tires. Ooh, that's a rough one. So maybe that's the thing. If you end up going down in the corner, you just flat tire your opponents and let them do that. But Homer is racing. Homer's not too far behind, and he's putting down some watts, 300, 400 watts on, like, physically here. And he's been going. This is his 4th Omni of the day, and it's going on even further. And I can't believe it. Kayla and Lancero go down. Lancero Storm, if you're listening, this is this track you wreck a lot in. You have to slow down a lot, so you have to go a lot fast. It's like a lot slower than you think. There's corner caper, flat tire. Let me check. Let me grab the notes here. Let me grab these notes and let you know that then great responsibility, and then razor's edge, and then wind at your back are the power-ups. So we saw some people use their flat tire already, and we saw some people use their corner caper already, just so they didn't wreck in that first corner. Frank is 7 seconds up from Casey right now. So similar situation to what it was before, where Glenn was up on Casey, but now it's Frank, and let's see if Frank can learn from his past mistakes and keep this lead here. 6 seconds up. I think Casey started to get into a rhythm there on the last one, but who knows, after riding this for 3 laps and now you're back for another 3 laps, your brain may get a little numb to it. You may start to make mistakes just from fatigue of seeing the same things over and over and slowing down and speeding up and slowing down. This kind of monotonous there. I don't know how many of each power up each person has, but I know they have at least one of each. I should have checked in the event thing when it came up, but I did not. But right now, Frank is still up, but only 4 seconds up. Casey is making a good time here, and then he uses his corner caper and slingshots around Frank. So Frank has to try to come back here. We'll see if the corner caper, it runs out there, but Casey slows down in time. He knows that it's gonna run out, so he makes the effort, and now he uses his wind at his back on this more straight. It's not a straightaway, but it's straighter than everything else. And Frank matches there, and someone uses a flat tire. Not sure who, but you have Casey who's now 3 seconds ahead of Frank. They're both speeding up at a similar rate here, and then Kayla is 8 seconds off the back from that. But Frank is now within 2 seconds of Casey, but coming into this corner, you have to slow down a little bit. And then this last corner is where Casey made a mistake on the last lap just because he saw Glenn coming up. And Glenn says that he wants you to win, Casey, so that way there's another race going on. And Frank goes down, and it looks more likely that Casey will win after Frank goes down in that corner. And Kayla's like, yeah, I'll go by you too. I'm not going to make any more mistakes. But then there's a flat tire used. I'm not sure. I can't tell who's using it. It's so quick that I couldn't see who it was. It might have been Casey. He looks like he's a little too happy with himself on that. No, it was not. Okay. I couldn't tell. It looked like everyone got affected by it, but Casey's feeling good. He's 10 seconds up off the front. Frank made a mistake trying to get back to him. And I guess this one, so if the first race was Frank sneaking up the place, then this one would be Frank with mediocrity, because he's still only 10 seconds off the back, but not as bad as, well, now it's changing. He just wrecked again. So we're moving on the scale. There's a scale of, Frank normally, Frank mediocrity, and then stinking up the place. And he went from mediocrity just a little bit lower after that wreck. But I'm sure that he's going to have a lot of words with me after this one. But Casey's still up off the front. Sunshower, thank you for the 50,000 sparks. I appreciate you always being in here. It was nice to see you racing the other day. And I believe you were racing the other day. And then, you're always in here. You're always hosting, always chatting. It's nice to have you in here. So thank you. Much appreciated. We're going a little bit longer than normal because Frank wanted some 1v1s, and I don't think he's going to be happy with the outcome. I think he's about to say, hey, let's get on the bike and then race there, because this controller, that's for lazy people. We'll see. We might have another rematch here. If it's best 2 out of 3, so far Casey is up there in that one, but I think we might go until Frank wins one. So maybe maybe you'll see Casey stop at the end to let Frank win. Who knows? But Kayla just went down a few seconds ago, so Casey has about a 20-second gap on Kayla in second place, and this is halfway through the second lap here, where Frank is still, coming back up. He's 23 seconds off, and then wrecks in another corner. I think, you just, once you get to that point, you try to gun it, trying to get every corner as close to the speed as possible. But yeah, Frank is going to do half race cycling, half controller. So we will see if the show goes on after this. Frank is back to crashing in each corner. We'll go see. And Casey's having too much fun at Frank's expense. I think someone may not. There may be some issues with some prize money coming through at the end here with Casey's face on this one. Maybe for me as well. I don't. I may be out of a casting job here here soon after tonight, but I think it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. So I think Frank gave up on this one. I don't know. Is he? Frank, are you in the call still, or goes flying?
Unfortunately, I am. Yes.
So are we going for a round 3, or what's happening here?
let me go see something. Hold on. I'm going to
Casey
exit this
says no.
event.
Casey doesn't want a round 3.
I'm going to exit this event. And the computer says loading from cache. Wait, I'm going to get into the next event. Casey's not in there. I can win.
Yeah, make an
I'm
event
all by
and win
myself.
yourself.
Everybody, please stay out.
Well, that'll get you your win for the night.
There is
Allison
one way to
is in
win,
here.
and that's how you
Be
do
the
it.
only racer.
Oh,
Yep. All
I
right, well, I
obviously
guess.
need lots of practice.
Well, Casey went down. You could have had your chance to come back right now. He
Oh
just went
yeah,
down,
sure.
but,
I leave in case he starts going down left and right. That's okay. I think I crashed like 7 times. I was probably a minute behind.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I should have
probably
stayed in
about
so
there.
Lance Earl could catch me because he was coming back. I had actually just given up on first and was trying for second, and then Kayla was destroying me. So obviously I've been spending too much time trying to improve the game and not enough time in the game. I will take measures to correct that particular dilemma.
Yeah, I guess that's the difference between improving the game and improving your game. So, got to get a little bit of both
There
in
you
there.
go.
But still, it was fun having you in here for a little bit. I
Well,
don't know,
now
is there-
Victor can
I
go
know.
out for breakfast.
Yeah, Victor, it's time for him to wake up already. We kept him so long. But no, thanks for coming in, making the end of the stream. Doing a little
Casey's
extra. Casey went down
crashing
again.
Like how? Come on, Kayla. Come on, Kayla.
Okay,
Go,
still 30
Kayla.
seconds back. But thanks for coming in. Sorry I had to make fun of you a little bit there, but when you're in there, you dish it out to other people. So I figured might as well let you have some of that. So thanks for coming in.
Well, I went
Making it a little bit
I
fun.
went from mediocrity to stinkometer again. So there you go. It
Yeah.
is what
Well,
it is.
I let it be known that time. But yeah, thanks. So yeah, we're coming to the end of there's 1 kilometer left here of this this rematch redux of Casey versus Frank. And Casey took second on the first one, but not to Frank. I don't think Frank finished either of the races, so it looks like Casey knows the game better than Frank, if that's possible. But Casey, I think had a good time, and I think hopefully anyone that was in the chat had fun as well. Allison, sorry we can't do it one more time. But yeah, 5:23 for Vic and Euglin. That sounds not great. I mean, although I got up earlier this week to race physically, but I'm ready to read a book and go to bed. That's what I'm ready to do. We are reading The Count of Monte Cristo, which I don't know if anyone else has read, but so far I'm only 300 pages in of 1,200 pages. It's fantastic. But this racing is really good. Casey, 30 seconds up off the front. He's coming into this last corner that he wrecked on to get second place last time, and he wrecks again. That corner on the last lap, that corner just gets everyone. And Kayla's trying to come back, but I don't think she'll be able to. But she'll take second place on this one. And then Lance Arrow's back further a little bit, and Homer's still racing physically. So, he's still doing his best, still pushing back there. I don't know if he's putting a lot of effort in. But he's putting more effort in these people pushing on their controllers, which I even stopped. Yes, it is 100 pages, but it's really good. So I've been reading it a lot. And yeah, so if you have your book recommendations, this is now CVRcade Book Club. But let's go talk to Casey. I know he doesn't want to do another rematch. But how did that rematch redux feel?
It gets better every time. You get your rhythm going. You get to know the track a little bit better. The power-ups, that flat tire sucks even when you're on a controller. So if Frank wants to go work on the game some more, he can lose that somewhere. if you'd like.
I thought everyone loved the flat tires.
No, the flat tire is even bad on the controller. But no, that was a lot of fun. Frank just needs to go practice. But we do appreciate that he's out of practice from working on the game too. But yeah, it's an interesting little twist. You know, we're getting a lot more people from the Xbox and the controller on here, and like that's some serious mental focus there on those tight corners. 22, 23 kph on some of those corners. And I'm just starting to kind of get the rhythm going. But I think that was like Frank's version of the beaten throw that I did, you know, throwing the water bottle. I'm not sure if like he made a mess in his living room throwing something after that one. He did the rage quit and bailed out on us, but that's all right. I know if I know Frank, the next time he's going to show up, he's going to be ready to take me down.
Yeah, he will definitely be prepared next time. But good job tonight on, you know, taking the overall against the controllers and then, you know, beating Frank twice. I'm sure that feels good. You'll be able to sleep with some good dreams tonight. But, you know, congrats. We'll see you on Saturday for the racing there. But what you just said just reminded me of something. Well, it gave me an idea that everyone will hate. Physical riders. I can't remember. Okay, I can't remember the track name now, but we should have two. Sorry, let me try to find this track name just because I can't remember it, and it's one of the better ones that everyone knows. But for some reason, my brain is shutting down now. But Summit Islands Redux. Okay, we take Summit Islands Redux 3 laps, and then have 2 flat tires. I'm sure everyone would enjoy that if you get flat tired going up the hill. That would be a lot of fun for people. So, you know, whoever makes these track listings, I would say if you do that, make sure it's a smaller Omnium, one that isn't like 4 long races. Maybe just that as the whole Omnium. But that would be a lot of punishment for people. I think it'd be a lot of fun to watch, and people would not be happy with that. But this has been going on too long. I feel bad for Vic. Although we got to see his face today, that should be on a highlight. Someone should put that somewhere. Although I'm sure he deleted it already, his face showing up on there. But again, we have World Cup racing Saturday, Zone K, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it's the team racing. Everyone's going to be racing against each other. Team points. It's a lot of racers in there. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'll be there. Casey will be in there. Homer will be in there. There's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be enjoyable. But with that, and the stream went over by 30 minutes, but it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun being here with you. I'm glad we got this little extra racing in. But with that, thank you, and I'll see you next time.
But no, Beth, your goes crashing down. Determination, the suffering, the ability to... And she's unleashed everything in this attack. See just how much that win means to him. All the marvels. Kayla versus Allison, and to the line. Kayla Laguna takes the victory.